up my emotions.
This is Three Brothers Movie Reviews, and we just watched The Room at the Ken Cinema in San Diego. Tommy Wiseau showed up for an intro. He had a Q&A. He asked questions to the entire audience. He showed the trailer for his movie Big Shark.
He signed a Blu-ray for me.
It was so awesome. He was like, it was really cool him coming around. But man, oh man, like the crowd came in to see Tommy, and man, you could absolutely tell that this was a crowd who'd like been to the movie like 10 times, like done this same thing, throwing spoons at the front, and like we don't know what to say, man. Like this isn't gonna be a movie review because like this movie's bad. It's probably one of the worst movies ever made.
You have to understand, unlike everyone else on the internet, we've never seen this movie.
Nope.
And we decided to watch it tonight when Tommy Wiseau was going to be there to introduce the movie and watch it with a crowd of people. There was a woman in line that literally had she must have had like a box of 300 spoons.
Yeah.
When we showed up with like box of 40.
Exactly. We were actually wondering, like, I was saying, like, do you think that they're gonna actually throw spoons? And like, it was war, man.
Oh
like,
my
it was like freaking the opening of Saving Private Ryan. Like spoons, like
Every
falling.
5 minutes,
They're grabbing
spoons were
the-
raining on you.
They kept throwing him into the audience. That was incredible. Oh my gosh, yeah. This, we don't know what to say. We're just gonna talk about it overall, but I want to talk about some of the stuff which is just like basically wrong. Is like everyone made fun of the transitions. Everyone was saying like water,
Right.
fire, and like go, and like there would be a pan.
Yeah.
But like the editing, it reminded me of True Detective season 2. Like season 1 kind of has all those different transitions that go across the Louisiana landscape. True Detective season 2, it's all just freeway shots. And it's all boring. You know, like that was what it was like. Every time they transition, they just cut to the city or like the bay, and you're just like, dude, stop transitioning.
And not only was it just like a transition shot to like show you that we're moving from one location to another, it was like literally like 12 hours of time passed.
Yeah, there was one time where they just cut outside, then they cut to night, and then they cut to day. And you're like, what was that all about? And like
3 different locations.
just like that's this massive amount of time. There was
It
a
was-
building which didn't have any purpose.
The funniest thing were when like you would have scenes that were just like, okay, they played football.
Yeah.
And then they ran up the stairs. And then it cuts back to Lisa at home.
Exactly.
Like, what?
It's funny because the crowd is saying sports every time that they
Right.
throw the ball. But yeah, if you watch that without the crowd, you're just like, they're just throwing a football and talking. It's
Right.
like-
Here's the strange thing. Like, I was surprised how fast it felt.
yeah.
Like, I mean, how long is this movie? It's like, oh gosh, 102 minutes. Okay, so it's basically, what is that? It's like
That's
hour
an
and
hour and 42 minutes.
42 minutes?
Right?
That felt like an hour 20.
Yeah.
Like, it managed to, I mean, I'll say one thing for the editing. It felt quick.
Yeah, it's
Like-
bad editing, but holy crap, like it doesn't bore you.
No.
It's just so fast you don't even know what the hell's happening. Like we were saying this, there's like a plot, there's like a premise to the movie.
There
but like,
is.
There's so many characters.
Here's the crazy thing. It not only has a story, like the basic story is this is the story of Tommy.
Yeah.
Played by Tommy Wiseau. And his future wife, Lisa. And drama that happens. But here's the crazy thing. This movie is dense enough that it not only has a story, it has a plot.
Yeah.
Like, you have stuff going on with, like, his confidential bank job. You have, like, this weird, like...
Psychiatrist
subplot. You have this, like, weird, like orphan kid that gets accosted by a drug dealer early in the movie, only for it to just completely go nowhere.
That line, like, it cracked me up. He said, "Don't worry, he's going to jail."
Right.
I was just like,
Or when the mom is jumping in and he's like, "Stop ganging up on me!"
It's so hilarious. Like the drug dealer comes out of nowhere with a gun, then Johnny and Mark come in, then the mom, like, you're like, why is everyone here?
And then
on the
Tommy
roof?
comes back, and then Mark is all of a sudden in the shot, and you're like, wait a minute. Oh my goodness. It was it was bafflingly bad, but it was just like unlike what normally would be bad. Like we've watched bad. Like
Yeah.
basically every Transformers movie past the first one.
Exactly.
Bad. But it's like that's mind-numbingly bad.
Yeah.
That's when you start to just shut down.
Because those movies are long and they're monotonous.
Too long, they're
There's-
monotonous, there's nothing interesting or variety going on. In this movie, you have no idea what the hell's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like,
They could just jump from one thing to one thing, especially with the dialogue. Like,
Right.
there's no, like, there's nothing hidden. There's nothing that, like, is subtextual. It's all, like, direct. Every
Right.
time someone says something, it's like, I feel this way. I think that. I'm going to do this. It's like, it's just like, and everything spikes. A scene can go from, like, 0 to 1,000 in,
Right.
like, 2 seconds.
here's the interesting thing. I noticed something that was interesting. I could tell Tommy Wiseau watched a ton of movies before he made this.
Yeah.
Because if you look at some of the scenes where they actually have dialogue go on for longer than like 2 seconds, like he uses different camera shots.
Yeah.
Like there's a scene early on, no, like towards the middle, where Denny tells him that, like, I think I'm in love with your girlfriend. And like he sits down with him, and as you watch the camera, it slowly zooms in on Tommy's face, and like it's on a slight movement to it, and like it's communicating something.
Yeah.
Like he understands that the camera is there more than just to like show people on camera.
Yeah, literally, honestly, I've seen films far worse directed than this. Like,
Right.
I remember there was the close-ups of like the shot glasses. Like he uses close-ups and he actually will frame conversations. I'm like, it's not just shot.
Right.
Like it was like he actually did like engineer the camera. Like,
Right.
Yeah. So
Like I think my favorite part of that whole scene where like it literally like zooms in on the shot glasses is it reminded me of what you said about Kubrick and how he almost never zooms in on objects, almost always close-ups. And I was like, Wiseau taking a Kubrick reference. Like it was it's really hard to explain this movie.
yeah.
Like
You just gotta
you
see
just
it.
need to go to a theater at midnight with a bunch of people and watch it.
I would never recommend watching this movie alone. I would
No.
not recommend. Yeah. You
I
gotta-
will probably never take this out of this case.
Yeah, you just gotta do exactly what we did, man. You gotta go to a theater with people who are gonna throw spoons at the screen because like it's the best way to do it. Like you can't watch this alone because
Right.
it'll just be a little bit boring and
It'll be monotonous.
Yeah, it'll be sad too. It's like I swear I cannot get over that ending where like he killed. Okay, spoilers
It's
for The
crazy.
Room in case you don't care, but yeah, like at the
If you care about spoilers for The Room, why are you here?
Yeah, please see it. I would recommend it.
Yes.
But yeah, at the end, like when Johnny kills himself, and then they're mourning his death, and the angles look like
Ridiculous. Like
Oh.
one of the crazy things is like, and there was a guy that was like saying this in the audience, like nobody tries to call the police.
Yeah.
Nobody tries to call an ambulance. Nobody tries to like resuscitate him. Like it's just like he's laying back and there's like a puddle of red food coloring behind him.
Yeah.
And that's like your ending shot.
Mark's got like his on the fingers. There's like it's just like looking
Right.
at it. It's like
It's like he dipped it in a jar. Like
oh wow.
it's can I just say something from the bat?
Yeah.
This movie has a ridiculous amount of characters in it,
Yeah.
and most of them are unnamed.
That was one of those constant jokes that everyone like sometimes two characters like
Right.
there's that scene where like the two characters come in and you get another one of those awkward sex scenes. You're just like, I don't know who these characters are.
That was the craziest thing in the world. They literally walk into Tommy's house and have sex.
Yeah. Just like
And then it moves on.
yeah. They just cut away from it. You're like, I didn't get introduction to any of these characters. You're like, what?
It was like, I'm trying to think of like who actually mattered in that movie. Tommy,
of course,
Lisa,
Mark,
and Mark.
And like
I think that's
mom,
it.
the mom maybe.
But the mom doesn't. What does she do
orphan?
other than like be the only other person that talks to Lisa? And then she has breast cancer that's never mentioned again.
Yeah, that it doesn't affect the film in any way. She says it. She says she's dying in the most casual way I've ever heard a character say they're dying.
She's like drinking a cup of tea and is like, I have cancer.
Yeah. This is the thing with the whole 0 to 100 thing, that lovely little line. Anyway, how's your sex life? It's like lines are so inconsequential. Yeah, like she's dying. That's just, you're like, what is that dude for the film? It ends and it doesn't change anything.
And there's major things that happen early on that go nowhere. Like early on when Lisa is trying to essentially conjure up an excuse to, I guess, not leave Tommy, but like torch him in the process, is like she says that he hits him. She says that he hits her while he's drunk. And then there's a scene where you don't see Tommy learn this, but he like goes onto the roof and is like, I did not hit her. I didn't hit her. Oh, hi, Mark. Like, you're like, that goes nowhere.
You're like, he didn't learn that. Like, there's no dynamic between him and Lisa where like like there's that one scene
nobody confronts him on like, why did you hit your girlfriend? Like, it's just like this is the funny thing. This is a movie that is potentially meant to be a drama centering around the tragedy of Tommy's life.
It's meant to be a drama,
but it's not about him. No. Like, most of the drama is carried by Lisa. Like, Tommy is blissfully unaware of the story for 90% of the movie. Like, this movie, strangely enough, belongs to Lisa. Isn't that weird?
It's bizarre.
Like, she's the one that ultimately changes the most. I mean, it's like, it's basically a change into a villain.
Yeah.
But...
And I mean, she ends she ends with an arc. Like, Tommy doesn't really.
How does he change meaningfully?
He doesn't. He
doesn't.
He stays the same, and then he kills himself.
He kills himself.
It's like
because reasons. Like, I don't even really know.
Like
they didn't even have the decency to like establish the gun early.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the oldest literary tropes. It's Chekhov's gun.
Exactly.
Literally, like, put a gun out there so you know it's going to be fired. Like, it just comes out of a box.
Yeah, it's like in the dresser. It's like the box is open and then he opens it again. It's like, it's in there. It's like, oh, gun. You're like, okay.
Okay, I need to bring this up because it happens too much to be ignored. How many sex scenes are in this movie? Like, painfully long and awkward sex scenes.
Really awkward and embarrassing. It's like
I think there's like 5 or 6 to my count.
It's like, at least 5.
and you can tell how awkward the actors are.
Yeah. Like we were mentioning
how
this
uncomfortable
every time in the theater, like when they do kiss, it's like and all the sounds that they're making. I was saying this to you, it's like those sounds are in the script. It isn't like they're doing it naturally. It's like they're doing it because it's a line.
It's like they're doing it in post without actually watching the footage.
Exactly.
It's like the director just told them, make sex sounds, and we'll just splice it in.
That's exactly what it is like.
Because the weird thing is, they happen at times when you can clearly tell the actors are not making noise.
Yeah.
Like,
those scenes are so awkward.
They are bizarrely weird.
It's like,
that was one thing that was helpful. There are scenes in this movie that would be horribly awkward to watch alone.
Yeah.
But in a theater, when people are trying to get past the awkwardness together, they've come up with these little like games to make it funnier.
Yeah, it was the entire film was like everyone was playing like 19 different drinking games with no drinking. It's like,
this is essentially the only reason this movie is a thing is people have essentially like you know when like people they've talked about like people collectively experiencing hallucinations.
Yeah.
Like this basically is an experience of collective, what's the word for it? Coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
This is a collective coping mechanism, is how can we get through the room in a way that's funny?
Yeah.
That's basically what everything was. Like, let's throw spoons, let's yell at the girl, let's do this, let's say, shut the door. Like, it really has nothing to do with the movie. It just has to do with, like, let's get through these weird, awkward things.
Because honestly, I was like, if I'd seen that movie alone, I'm like, I don't think it would stand out as like a so bad it's good, like really great. I'm like, it was the audience.
It was
all the audience, and like how creative everything that they had come up with was, because like I said, this is like, it was an audience where clearly the majority had been there before,
right,
and had done this type of thing like over and over again, and they knew all of these different jokes to throw in, and it was so hilarious.
Some of my favorite stuff was when there would be a guy who would like get up and like go up to the screen and do something and interact with it. There was this one moment where there's a panning shot of the city at night, and this guy goes up and pretends to be like moving it with his hands.
It syncs so perfectly. I swear, I wish I could have recorded the entire night, because there was so much hilarious stuff. There's also that one moment where Tommy's looking down. All the guys came over. They're like, "Hey, Tommy!" They're like, Tommy! And then he looks down. He's like, that was hysterical.
There was a woman who was maybe like 3 rows behind us that had some of my favorite commentary. Like, she was clearly a pro. There's a recurring element where there are these photographs in Tommy's house that have clearly not had like the in-store picture taken out, and they're pictures of spoons. And so whenever you see that, you're supposed to throw spoons. However, there are scenes where you'll have a reverse shot, where every time you reverse shot, there's spoons in frame. The lady behind us, whenever like people stopped throwing spoons when they were supposed to, is like, "Keep throwing spoons, idiots!"
Oh, and the guy to the far right, but she's so sexy. It's like
so sexy.
Oh gosh, man.
This is not really about the movie.
No.
Like, I noticed that there was a point where I just stopped paying attention to dialogue.
Yeah, I remember I was
paying attention solely to the audience.
I was doing that at first. I was kind of, clapping, like, riffing along, and then after a while, I just abandoned all like analysis or like thought process on the film, and was just like in the moment, just like it became like a football game essentially. Right. Yeah,
it's like, this is a weird thing to say, but like, do you remember that scene in Midsummer?
Yes,
where they're screaming to each other.
Exactly.
It was like that. Like, we all just kind of got in sync and started to collectively embrace the madness.
That was exactly what it's like, man. Yeah. This is not a movie review, man, because like there's nothing to talk about. We talked about the editing and all that. Like, you can chalk down what you can about the room, but like this is the experience, man. We just had the funnest time ever. My face hurt so much. I was laughing.
I've lost my voice. There was a point where I was like, oh, like I can't talk.
I loved Tommy's like Q&A at the beginning. He was like, it was really nice. He was
extremely charming.
Yeah.
Like, I loved him like introducing like, oh, we have a special surprise for you. And he introduces a trailer to a shark movie that he's making with Greg Sestero and some other actors.
Yeah, it should be coming out later this year.
I love it. I haven't seen anything except the trailer, and I think he said like, they're like 3 firemen fighting sharks in Louisiana.
Yeah, it's New Orleans.
Or New Orleans, right?
Oh my gosh. They're like looking down, like water comes in like a wave, and then all of a sudden it's at waist level. You're just like, what the hell? Oh, wow. Yeah. Tommy Wiseau, man, like I said before, he hasn't like risen above the room. He hasn't like proved himself more. Like, I swear,
he's made a career out of this.
Yeah,
movie.
like Stanley Kubrick divorced himself from his early films, like Fear and Desire. He it's a pretty dull movie. It's really bad, and he doesn't like it. And he tried to distance himself and like made other stuff. Like, Tommy Wiseau has embraced this movie and like it's something special. Like, people like this movie. They're drawn to it, and you stick with what works for you, man. It's like I liked what he said at the beginning, where he's just like, you know what, just just go out there, make it, and it's like just hopefully your dreams will come true. I'm like, oh, that was cool to hear from him say.
There was a great question from the audience where I think they asked him, were you surprised by what The Room has become? He actually gave a very prescient answer.
Yeah.
He turned it back on her and was like, have you ever wanted to do something and it turned out completely different?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a completely fair answer. Like, that's essentially what happened here. He made what he was making out to be a drama, like this big tragedy that clearly takes inspiration from his own life, since Greg Sestero was like a good friend of his at the time, and like this is clearly his movie and very much tied to him personally. And he put it out there, and instead of like being caught up in it as like this big epic drama, people found it hysterically funny. And that's a good point. What happens when your expectations are completely just thrown out the window and what you planned is just not how it happens? Like, it's kind of interesting. Like, and he's definitely chosen to embrace this as something funny.
Yeah.
Like, he's not like, this is serious, take my movie serious.
Exactly. Like he isn't like hailing this as a masterpiece. He's just like, take it what you will. It's my movie, so I'm sure he's happy with it. I don't think he's ashamed of it, but it's like I don't think he's prideful or like arrogant. He's just all right,
He almost wasn't even talking about the movie most of it.
No.
Like, he was answering people's questions about the movie he's making and like his perfume brand and like it's
that was another something too. He said he's like making a perfume, and I'm like, good for you, man.
Right. I was honestly going into this like wondering, like, is he gonna come off as cynical and manipulative? And he doesn't.
No.
He comes off as sincere.
Yeah.
A bit strange, but sincere.
Like he would always, he's like, whenever someone would ask a question, he'd be like, yeah. He's like distorting the microphone. It's like, it's really funny. But
you have to understand, he was wearing like dark sunglasses.
Yeah.
It's past midnight. We're in a dark movie theater. He's wearing these dark sunglasses.
He was wearing these like construction gloves, and someone actually asked in the Q&A, he's like, why are you wearing gloves? He's like, because I
feel like it.
He's like, yeah, we live in America. It's a free country. It's like, that was hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this.
No.
I've seen this movie in clips.
Yeah.
You've never seen anything you didn't even know like spoilers.
No.
Like, did you know the ending?
I knew the ending. I
Okay.
I didn't know a lot of the stuff in between. Like I'd seen maybe like 20% of the movie at best. But like most of that stuff I did not know. And
the best stuff was the stuff I've never seen before.
yeah.
Like, if you've seen any clips of this movie online and you think that you know this movie,
Yeah, like the whole roof.
you
Like
don't.
everyone knows the rooftop scene, but that is like
Right.
the least of it. There's
Oh my
so
gosh, it's-
much.
it's the details. Like, there's shots where characters are on a roof, the angle changes,
And the color correction on the sky.
it's like ridiculous. Like, it's like such a bad blue screen, but it's just owning it.
Yeah.
It's owning it's a bad blue screen, and damn it, this is a good. It's damn it, this is a bad blue screen. We're keeping it. Like,
Whatever.
it's
There's no other movie like The Room. I've never seen a movie like this, and I've never had a theater experience like that ever before.
the closest I've come to it is Rocky Horror, but Rocky Horror is a great movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the Rocky Horror experience transplanted to this ridiculous movie.
Yeah. Holy crap. Was there anything more you wanted to talk about, or? I think we've said our piece, and honestly, like I said, this isn't a movie review because
It's
there's pretty much
not.
nothing. Like, I honestly, of all things, I would just recommend you do pretty much exactly what we do. If there's
Yes.
ever a midnight screening, or if you can look up any like midnight movie theaters near you, see The Room.
Yes.
Like, go when a lot of people are there, because that is the best time. This was so funny. Don't watch this alone. Don't watch it with like someone you're close to, just looking for a decent movie. Go just to have a blast, because that's what we did, man. And like we laughed so hard. It was something else, man. Yeah.
I will recommend this to people who are on a first date. Because I'm a twisted person.
There were those two people in front of us. I don't know, like the girl didn't seem too into it, but I was
Right.
just laughing. I was like, I don't know if like they've been together too long. Like, Tommy was like literally asking her questions. He was the one who was he was the
Oh,
hairdresser.
Tommy was straight up hitting on like several women in the
Yeah.
audience. Like, he was completely going like the, hey babe, I'm a big movie star. Like,
Yeah.
how are you doing? Yeah, I have nothing to say about this movie, really.
No,
I have everything to say about the experience.
Exactly.
Which was awesome.
it was completely awesome. Yeah, the stories we can tell, man. This was a fun night. Like we don't have too much else to say, man. But holy crap, like I said, man, See the Room like this, it's hilarious and honestly, like we were saying, genuine. Like I don't feel like Tommy Wiseau made this like feeling like he was above the world. He just made it because he just wanted to make a movie, and I'm like, you know what? You gotta praise him for that. So
In a strange way, this movie is a love letter to San Francisco,
yeah,
where he lived at the time and spent his time making the movie there. Like, it's a bit strange, but like, there's love in this movie.
yeah,
It's a movie that completely does not work as what it intended, but it's wholly its own thing. Like, yeah, go see
Yeah.
The Room.
definitely. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching our bizarre like after experience and sharing of The Room. We would recommend it if you see it under the right circumstances. Thank you so much for watching. This is Three Brothers Movie Reviews, and please subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. See you guys. Bye.
Oh well.
Anyway, how is your sex life?